Hey, can you see me? Can't hear me? Can you hear me? Nothing? Okay, hold on.
Hey, buddy, I can hear you. It's coming in real choppy.
Uh, what in the world?
I'm guessing the service is pretty lousy. I deal with the same thing here.
All right, can
We're
you
gonna
hear
get
me
this
now?
thing to work eventually. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sweet.
Hey, it's nice to meet you, man.
Man, nice to see you, dude.
Yeah.
Can you hear me all
How have you
right?
been?
And I'm good, man.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Good.
Good.
Man, it's good to finally see you. Good to finally meet you, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, you too. I've been looking forward to it. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been looking forward to it. I've been super pumped about it the whole time.
Same, bro. Same.
Uh, I love the feather in your hat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That's it was given to me by a good friend of mine. Um he's
Really? That's awesome.
yeah, man, I don't know why he likes me so much, but he does, man. He's a friend of me and my wife. Uh, it's uh, it's her dad, and he plays music. And I went to a show like, oh gosh, I don't know, like 7 years ago, and he was playing music. And I went up and I just told him, man, that was really great. I love your songwriting. And this was before I knew that he was my friend's dad. And and ever since then, um, we saw each other one time at uh, his daughter's, I don't know, birthday party or something. He's like, I remember you, and then we've just been best friends ever since. So he's pretty cool dude. But yeah, he's a good guy. But
Breaking up on me a little bit, buddy.
man, I usually have really great service right here. I don't know what's up.
This is the way it goes, though.
Yeah,
Whenever you live out in the woods.
yeah. I live pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Are you there? I don't know.
I don't know. I just hope it's getting it off. But
Maybe
anyways, it was before.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. So it was before you knew that it was your friend's dad,
Yeah.
and
So
you went to a show.
yeah. Before I knew that they were connected at all, I had met this guy, and then we reconnected at his daughter's birthday, and then he just every time he sees me, he's just super excited. And one time he just brought me a whole bag of these feathers because he noticed I had a feather in my hat, and he was like, "Hey man, I noticed you like feathers. I've been collecting these for a while, but I just wanted to give them to you." And yeah, he's just a really sweet guy. But
That's awesome.
yeah. He gave it to me for good luck for turkey hunting this season, but I didn't get anything. I didn't have time to go.
I didn't either, man. I wanted to, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how you been, man?
But looking forward to deer season coming back around.
Yeah.
I've been good. I've been real good actually. Uh, God, I've been doing a whole bunch myself. Uh, I was just sitting here thinking about that feather. I've got a giant box of goose feathers over there where the
Oh
geese
yeah.
have just molted, and we go to the lake and pick them up to make fletchings and stuff out of. So I've got like this giant box of goose feathers over there.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. Resourceful, man. Man, I don't know. It keeps on muting and then like cutting my video off for some reason. Um,
Yeah, it's not either I don't have really great service or you don't have really great service one,
Let me check my
which that's what happens when you live out in the middle of nowhere.
exactly. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Says
But
I've got good connection on the
I've got all
Wi-Fi.
the time in the world.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I have no idea then.
Huh. Yeah, it says okay, it's
How
going
hot
up.
is it there?
dude, it's like, oh, upper 80s right now, probably 90 right now. Um, it's hot.
Yeah.
I was,
It's
I've been
staying in
sweating
the
all week.
high 90s all day.
Yeah. Let me, let me move real quick. Let me move up
There you
closer.
are. I just bumped my drink and made a mess.
What's that?
I said I just bumped into my drink and made a mess all over my table.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Off to a great start.
Oh yeah. Very very professional interview, ain't it?
No, this is better. It's like talking to a friend, man. It's not all like nervous.
This
Well,
that's
I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of nervous because I'm a big fan, brother.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I'm a fan too. You know, uh, eh, I whatever. Oh man, I saw you do that. I will get into that here in a little while, but I just want to let you know that was some beast shit right there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I tell I've told everybody. I said I would have threw up. I said as soon as I had touched it, I would have threw up right then.
yeah. It was I don't know. It was oh, it was rough. I think you just get the strength that you need in some moments, and it just I had what I needed at that moment to do that. I don't know where that really
Yeah,
came from, but in that moment, I think it's just what I needed, and I got it.
yeah. I was surprised by it, man, because I expected there to be just a ridiculous amount of blood. I saw there was a lot of blood, but I just expected it to be a ridiculous amount. But just watching you pull that thing out, I could see your skin moving and everything. I could see your hands shaking a little bit, the adrenaline pumping. Oh, that was insane.
Yeah, I had to like widen up the hole a little bit to get
Oh,
that arrow back out. I had to like push in and kind of push it out to get it to slip out.
oh man, that's
There was
terrible.
they made it really quick, that whole scenario. The way they edited it. Um, it was a lot
Yeah.
longer than that. The whole process was a lot longer than that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was
No,
it was
I
pretty
said the
brutal.
same thing. Yeah, I said the same thing about my tap out. It was like 5 minutes at the beginning of the show, and I had tapped out or whatever. 5 minutes at the beginning of the episode, I tapped out. Dude, that was like an hour and a half ordeal. You
Yeah,
know, that
yeah,
wasn't quick. That was a long time.
yeah,
But yeah, so I understand that.
yeah.
Oh man, how I have to ask you. You pulled that arrow out of your leg, which is just once again, kudos. That's insane. Uh, how far did you have to walk back to your shelter?
It was like a 30-minute walk. Um,
Oh my God.
hold on, just a second. Sorry, Dad. I'm recording that podcast. Citronella incense. Yeah, for the mosquitoes. Leave me alone and let me do my famous stuff, okay? Love you, Dad. Uh, um, yeah, man, my dad's great. He's like me, but
Yeah.
like imagine me, 20 years older, so gray hair, but the beard, the hair, it's all gray, and twice as jovial and happy. Like that's my dad. Yeah, he's
Nice.
like the real life Santa
Good.
Claus.
That's awesome, man. That is so awesome.
um, okay, what were we
Man,
talking about?
see, uh, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of the Cubby personality on there, and I for one, I love it.
Well, thanks, man.
But yeah, man, no, thank you. Uh, what was we talking about? Now I'm sitting here thinking about the citronella for the
Yeah,
mosquitoes.
yeah,
Yeah,
citronella. Yeah, I got some citronella incense. We were at like
nice.
some like Dollar General or something the other day buying stuff, and I was like, hey, I want to try those out. I think we were talking about the arrow. So that
The walking
how
back,
long?
the walk
Yeah, how
back.
long was the walk? I'd say is like a quarter of a mile. Um, it wasn't super far, but it was like I was like a 30-minute walk whenever I was healthy, away from my site.
Yeah.
But that 30 minutes is crawling and scooting around on my butt through that thicket. Um, so I would say it's probably like a quarter mile. I bet. But with the arrow in the or with the hole in the leg, whenever I was walking back, it was like 45 minutes, maybe longer. I don't know. It was a long time. It was insane.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Well, a quarter of a mile, I mean, just through the thick, that's going to be a long time anyways.
Yes.
And like I say, yeah, I can hear you. It's in and out just a little bit, but I was able to catch everything. But that a quarter mile through that thick stuff, that like you say, 30-minute walk, but then you just pulled an arrow out of your knee right there at the bend of your leg, and then you have to squat down and crawl through all that stuff. Man, uh, I can't even wrap my mind around it.
Can you hear me now? You can see me and hear me now.
Well, that's okay. Like I said, I understand. That's what happens. I
It's
live out
like
on the side of a mountain myself, man. I'm just lucky to have service where I'm sitting right here.
this is frustrating.
This is what it is, guys. This is how hard it is to, actually do anything on the internet when you live out in the middle of nowhere. I just hope it's recording everything. If not, then we're just going to have to link up and do it again.
My goodness.
It's all right.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's just a bummer because I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Well, like I said, man, I got all the time in the world, and we'll make it through it together.
Okay.
Oh man. Uh, so what was? Oh, you was talking about going through the thicket after the accident. You was talking about going through the thick stuff, and I know that had to be rough, man.
Yeah, man. It was honestly, like the worst part about it was not even the pain. It was just the realization that everything was coming to an end. Like the pain was
It's
small and
still.
insignificant compared to you. Mikey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, give me just a second.
Hey man, take your time. I was actually just sitting here talking a whole bunch of just random nonsense. I thought about like changing my clothes so that when you came back on, I would look different or something like that. I thought about maybe going outside.
That would be hilarious. All right.
Yes,
You can hear me and see me now. Everything's good.
yes, yes.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, that's a lot better.
Awesome. All right. I'm in my dad's
Soundproof room.
recording studio. Yeah, it's my dad's recording studio.
Oh, that's awesome.
He does like
That is so
voiceovers.
cool.
Yeah, he like does like audio books and stuff like that. Yeah. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put ice in moonshine.
I this is strictly water. I actually quit drinking about 2 years ago. Um and I've got ADD, and so
Well, I had you for a minute there, Cubby. Now it's locked up on you again.
man, it's saying you're like sometimes you'll disappear, and then above your picture it'll say that your bandwidth is slow.
Okay, so it's me then.
Yes.
All right.
Or it's both of us.
Okay, so I'll have to do some fixing up here. Is it pretty good right now?
Yeah, I can see and hear you just fine now.
Okay. Let's see if it keeps going like that. Uh,
Okay.
go ahead and jump back to it. So all the way back, we were talking about you pushing through the bush after the accident. So let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. The worst part of all of that, like, yeah, the arrow in the leg sucked, and the having to walk back to the camp with a hole in your leg, that was awful. But the worst part was like just the mental turmoil that you're going through on the way back, and just the frustration that's coming up because you're realizing I might not be able to stay, and um, that I would say that was the hardest part. The pain sucked, of course. The arrow in the leg, yeah, nobody wants that, but it was the mental stuff for me that really just uh, it was just a frustrating moment, you know.
Yeah. Uh, Sorry, it cut out on you a little bit there again.
Oh no.
Oh, no, now I feel really bad. But like I said, I live on the side of a mountain. That's how these things
Yeah.
go.
No, I you're totally fine, and I've got all the time in the world too, so we can
Awesome.
keep on trying. Yeah, it's fine.
Awesome. But yeah, the like you said, going back to the mental part of it,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you already basically knew what was going to happen when you got back, and that
Well,
had to eat at you through the whole way.
yeah, I was really honestly like the reason I okay, let's see here. The reason I decided to go ahead and take the arrow out of my leg is because I was gonna try to stay. Like I wanted to stay. But like I also knew in the back of my head, like I just got an arrow in the leg and I'm bleeding a lot, you know. And so it's gonna be really difficult. But yeah, I was going through things, just thinking through ways to, you know, maybe I could clean this wound out and sew it up whenever I get back, or, maybe I can figure out a way to stop the bleeding and try to lay in bed for a few days and try to heal it up. I don't know, I was just thinking about all kinds of stuff. um so my mind was pretty preoccupied, but also in the back of my head I'm thinking like there's no way they're going to let me stay. Like they're going to come out for a medical check and they're going to pull me, is what I was thinking. So yeah, I got back to my tarp taco, little shelter that I threw up day one. And man, I sat on top of that rock for a long time. It felt like a lifetime, just sitting there trying to come up with some plan to stay. And everything that I was thinking about just wouldn't work. And yeah, I just hit this moment where I realized like my time here is done. I can't I can't get the bleeding to stop. I've had compression on this wound for over an hour by this point, and I've checked it a couple times, and it every time it'll stop bleeding for a little bit, and then it'll just start pouring out and going. Just not a super heavy flow of blood, but like consistent. Um, and yeah, I hit this point where I realized like I can't stay, and then it took me like another 25 minutes to call in and actually to like make myself do it. But right before I did, that scream you hear right before I did call in, I just like stood up and just like ah, just like everything I had deep down inside me just like came out in this yell. And that was just me getting all my frustration and anger out because my time on alone was done. But then they dubbed that over the moment that, the arrow goes in my leg, and which is fine. It makes for good TV.
Yeah,
And, it makes it really dramatic and intense in that moment. But that scream to me was a very powerful moment. Um, just bearing the weight of the decision. That's what that was.
yeah,
And
more
so
of a roar.
Yeah, it was a roar. It was a battle cry, you know. It was a
Yeah,
um so, I understand why they dubbed it over where they did, but I'm also like, and it was good TV where it was, but you know, maybe the camera angle wasn't on right, or maybe I didn't have a camera on me, so they didn't use that, which is fine. Their job is to make good TV, and they did. They made real good TV. So
yeah,
I'm proud of that episode. I'm proud of how the team edited it together. I'm proud of the way that they told my story exactly how I told it, and I'm proud to be on Alone. I'm proud to be a part of the whole process, and I love the crew, uh, the producers. Man, everybody did a heck of a job, and I'm just thankful for it. The whole thing.
yeah. I actually, whenever I got back from the show, uh, I did a little research, and there's been over 500 people in space. You believe that? 500 people. So only like a quarter of that has been on this show,
Yeah,
you know?
that's insane.
And,
Yeah,
yeah, and you're a part of that.
yeah.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So what about leading up? What made you apply? What was going through your head when you decided, you know what, I'm going to Google left field entertainment or whatever, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send in this application. What was going through your mind? What was the steps that led into it?
So I didn't apply. Uh,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it's super humbling too. Um, you know, uh, I left my job about 2 years ago and started building bows full time and homesteading. Um, I tell the story about Cameron passing away, and that's kind of what led me to uh, this way of living, so I can be closer to my family. And so in that process, I also wanted to carry these skills, this old craft, and carry that to other people in my influence. And so I had Instagram, I got TikTok, and putting it on Facebook, and later on I got a YouTube, and so I just started putting a bunch of videos on Instagram and TikTok of me doing bow building, and then some homesteady stuff like clearing land, building stuff, like just little things. And I believe it was Audrey that reached out to me, or uh, Naomi. Is that the right? I can't remember her
I
name, and I
didn't,
feel
I
really
didn't,
bad.
I didn't meet Naomi. I do know Audrey,
Yeah,
but I didn't meet
yeah.
Naomi.
It was. I think it may have been Audrey reached out to me on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it is, and such a long time ago now it feels like. But anyways, they reached out to me on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, right, whatever. Like this isn't real. And
Yeah.
so I just ignored it. I just ignored it for like a day. Um, and then I got an email, and they were like, "Hey, this is Audrey from ITV. We want to talk to you about being on the show Alone. Have you heard of it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard of it. Like, but I don't believe you." I was like, "I didn't apply. Like, I don't trust this." And then I got another message on Instagram, and so I was like, "Maybe this is legit." So I Googled ITV America, and it was like, "Yeah, they do the show Alone." And so I was like, okay, this is legit. So I was like, I'm really sorry that I ignored you. Of course I'm interested. Uh, please have me. And then the rest is history. Uh, but yeah, I left my job, and whenever I left my job, I told my best friend Drew, I was like, hey man, this is what I'm doing. I'm moving my family to Missouri, and we're gonna start building bows and homesteading, and maybe in like 5 years, I'm gonna try to get on that show Alone. And like that's what I told him, and then like it was like 6 or 7 months later, I get this call, and it was, yeah, it was wild. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
That is so
Such a
awesome.
huge dream,
Uh,
such a huge dream.
yeah, and they reached out to you. That really is that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know why. I run. I've got some friends on Instagram that I made through Instagram, made some connections, and like, of course, like I added previous contestants that I was interested in, like Corey Hawk and Rick Spicer and Keith Sires or
Yeah.
Sears. I can't remember how you pronounce his last name, but we're all really good friends now. And I'm like, did one of you guys put my name in there? And I've asked them, and they're like, "Nah, man, we didn't do it." But I don't really believe anybody, so I'm like, somebody put my name in. They had to have, but uh,
it wouldn't matter anyways, man. They don't.
yeah,
It's not. Yeah, it's not one of those things I can't call and say, hey, got this guy, that I think would be good for the show. No, they got their own selection process.
exactly.
So
Yeah, and
it
that's
was all you, man.
and well, and I had asked Audrey. I was like, "Did somebody?" And she was like, "No, we, that's not how this works." And she told me all that,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Okay, okay." But yeah, it was just a really cool, you know, opportunity, almost like destiny. A God thing. It was like it just like was laid in my lap, and it was incredible. I'm still processing
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
I bet once the episode was over, you just got rushed with so much stuff, didn't you? People coming
Yeah.
left and right wanting to talk to you.
Oh yeah. All kinds of comments like, that there's a bunch of negative ones. Um,
Oh, don't
but
listen to those, man. If you would have saw the
well,
negative comments, it would blow your mind.
well, here's the thing, these people think they're saying something new to me. That's the funny thing. Everything they're saying, I've said my own dadgum self. Like I ripped myself to shreds whenever I did this to myself. Um,
Yeah.
I was the meanest person that so they're not saying anything new. and they think they
Yeah.
are, and that's the comical thing. But you really never know until you're in that situation. I how are you gonna plan that? It was a freak accident. That there's nothing I could have done to prevent that. Like, I mean, there's mistakes that I made, of course, but and I own those. This was 100% my mistake and my fault. Like, but it's also a freak accident. Like,
Yeah. It could have happened to
um,
anybody.
could have happened to anybody. So,
Yeah.
but the comments that I'm loving and the attention that is coming in, the positive things is just brilliant. It's wonderful, and I'm really thankful for those kind words from those people. They've been really loving and supportive, and just the just people. I don't even know these people, and they're reaching out like, "Hey, I hope you healed up just fine. That was devastating. It was really hard to watch, and I'm sorry you went through that." And it's really just kind stuff and really supportive stuff, and asking me how my wife's doing, and if we're still planning on trying to have kids, and it's just good people, good folks, and reaching out and connecting, and that's pretty awesome to see. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's always great.
yeah,
And they will, man. There's so many people out there. I didn't know how many good people were out there before my time on the show, and it amazed me and it humbled me, just the amount before everything, people just saying they're sending me stories about their kids and about their life with their kids. I start getting teared up thinking about these stories that people send me, man, because I live that, and my wife lives that, and then these people, just random people you don't know, and
yeah.
they're just sending words of encouragement, man. It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that like everybody's going through something. Everybody out
Yeah.
there everybody's got something hard that they're going through, and we tend to draw in on ourselves and think our situation's special, and we're the only ones suffering. We get our world view gets real small, and then something like this happens, and you get interactions with more folks that respond to your story and relate, and they're going through stuff too, just like us. And you know
Yeah.
um and so like everybody needs that support, and it
Yep.
was just a good reminder to use this moment to be a positive influence in people's life, and just remind them that hard things are there. It's hard things come and hard things go. It's part of life. just keep on going. And
Yes.
so
Amen.
it's been a good experience, man. It really has.
Yeah. So aside from the good comments, I don't really get on Facebook a whole lot and stuff like that. I didn't even have a Facebook before the show. I had one, but I never got on it, So I don't spend a whole lot of time on Facebook and stuff. But has anybody said that it was staged?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm just like, there's actually
Yeah,
there's been quite a few of those, like, oh, it's staged, it's there's no blood, it's obviously, not real,
but there
it's
was
twisted up
blood.
in his. Well, and there's this one person, I don't know who it is, and if I knew their name, I'd give them a shout out right now because I love them, because they're going on there and going, "Have you even watched the show, dude? Like, there's there's so much blood. Like that was
Yeah,
obviously real. What are you talking about? It was fake." And I'm just like, yeah, yeah, a TV show, sure, yeah, like they're gonna pay somebody to jab themselves in the leg where their femoral artery is. Are
yeah,
you ridiculous? Like, have you even thought this through? What are you even saying? Like, but I don't say anything. I'm not, I'm not gonna get involved in
yeah.
that, and I just laugh at
I
it.
just Yeah, I think it's funny. That's with Cade on my season. Cade lost his quiver,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody was saying Cade's an actor and he did that on purpose. Man, no.
It people just say the wildest things, and it, I
Yes,
seriously
it's
think they don't
hilarious though.
actually. I seriously, I don't think they actually think through fully what they're saying before they speak what they're saying, because like if they would actually think out that thought process, they would get to this understanding that there's no way that somebody would actually stab themselves in the leg or pitch all of their arrows while they're trying to, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Oh my God, people
Bunch
are
of
crazy.
goobers, man.
Yeah, around here I always say there's a short between the brain and the tongue.
Yeah.
Don't think
Yes.
about anything;
Yeah.
it just starts moving.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's
some
crazy.
silly comments out there, man.
Yeah, those have always been my favorites. Oh, he didn't shoot that grouse, dude.
Okay.
I had a guy tell me I've been a traditional archer for 20 years, and there's no way you shot that grouse. Man, come on
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
So, yeah, those are always my favorites. The it
Yeah.
can't be possible. You faked it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh God. But like you say, you just gotta laugh at it.
Yeah, it's like water off a duck's back, man. I don't even
That's
it
exactly right.
it don't stay long enough to get caught up in my brain. It's just like, that's funny. All right, next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been some late nights of me like trying to go to sleep, and I'm like, I can't sleep because I'm just thinking about comments.
Yeah.
So I'll go read them.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
that. I did that quite a few times. Oh God, I can't remember. Uh, oh, Kevin Hart. Has Kevin Hart got a hold of you?
no.
No, no. I'm surprised, man. The whole season there was this guy. His name was Kevin Hart, and I don't know if that was his real name or not. But he'll get on there and he'll say, if you take the Hammett, then you've got 900 feet of cordage, and you
Oh,
can do this,
yes.
this, this. Yes,
Okay. Okay. He's changed his name. He has changed
nice.
his name, I believe. Uh, I've seen him comment on some other people's YouTubes, on my season, some other participants, YouTubes. But yeah, I've not run into him yet on my stuff.
Yeah,
So
he may get with you. I
man,
had,
he's got I he needs to write a book. I'm telling you what.
I'm telling you, there's this guy I was watching YouTube the other day, and there's this guy. He did a recap on the episode, and I knew it was Kevin Hart, but it was like user blah 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 blah. But I knew it was him, yeah. And I actually got on there and I said, "Hello, Mr. Kevin Hart. How have you been, my friend, or whatever?" And that other guy was like, "Yeah, it's Kevin Hart. I knew the name."
Oh,
But yeah,
that's great.
I told him, I said, man, you need to listen to what this guy has to say. If you use some of it, it's legitimate stuff right there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
some wild theories, man. He does. Oh.
He invited me to go camping with him.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah, he said, if you're ever around this area, let me know beforehand and we'll find a spot to meet. And I was like, well, man, I, I'd love to do it, but I don't know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen your face, man. I've never talked
Yeah.
to you.
But I have tried some of the things that he has said, and they work.
Yeah, some of them it's like I don't know. It's like somebody is just they're not even commenting on the video, right? It's like
Yeah.
he's just like coming up with all of these. It's like he can't stop thinking at night, and he's just thinking, "What would I do in this survival situation?" And then he's just like rattling it off. It's just
Yeah.
memoirs of his survival fantasies.
Well, now I actually had the privilege of having a text conversation with him. He deleted it. I can't find it anymore because I was actually going to go back over it, but I actually had the privilege of having a text conversation with him, and he told me about how he was uh, running from the law, how he was homeless for X amount of time. He told me how he went through everything, like each night, what he
Wow.
did each night, and how he maintained, cleanliness, how he got his food, how he did, and the man, I mean,
So he
he
might
was for
actually
real
be
about it.
legit. Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. So I
We
laugh
need to
about it, but
You need to interview this dude, man.
if I could get a hold of him, I would. You know what I'm saying? But he would be one of those guys that you see the TV show and their voices all like this and they're real
Yeah.
dark in the face. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be him.
Yeah. 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 He wants to be anonymous, man. That's so
Oh
funny.
yes.
Oh,
Hey,
that's great.
uh, on there, right before everything happened or whatever, but it was showing you were building your shelter, and it showed your bed and everything, and the way you were building that thing, man, that was going to be a super stout shelter. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be. It was no joke. You could tell by the way you were framing it out that it was going to hold up to a lot. Uh, no amount of snowfall was going to cave it in. That's for sure.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah. I've
what was your plans for that shelter? Like, did you have a set plan, or was you just kind of winging it? I'm going to do this here, this here.
um, you know, I think everybody has kind of a set plan whenever they go in, and then it just kind of goes crazy. Um,
Yes,
so I just being a builder or a carpenter, somebody knows how to
that's what I'm
build
talking about.
something. Yeah, I've been yeah, I've been
Yeah,
building stuff since I was a kid. I can't tell you how many tree houses I built or bridges over creeks or structures to hold my bike. I don't know. It's just
yeah,
I've built so many things. So this was just like uh I knew I wanted something strong that I could stand up in if I needed to, but not so big that I couldn't heat it. Um, and so I was looking for something that was not super wide, but tall, and that had a really sharp or steep pitch, so that snow would just fall off of it. And so I needed a heavy frame, especially because I'm a heavy guy, and I wanted my bed elevated because heat rises. Um, and so that was kind of the point of elevating my bed off the ground. I was just going to stuff it full of any insulation that I could, any earthen material. Uh, so that was kind of my plan with it. And then the frame was these heavy logs, but then I was going to put the willows and alders across the two roofs, and then just kind of weave it in and out, and then put my tarp over that. Some more logs, more debris, insulation. Um, so, and then I was gonna also put a fireplace uh, on the back wall, kind of in the middle of that wall, and then yeah, have my hearth there, and that's kind of the plan. So I was thinking about this going in, but then I just kind of adapted with my surroundings, what I had there in that moment, and those trees were just perfect for you know my main supports.
Yeah. So you guys had that river mud, and there was like grassy areas. We have a lot of that around here, and I don't know if you had thought too far into your fireplace yet. We didn't. Where I was at, we had a little bit of sand, a bunch of rocks, and some moss. But there you had mud, you had grass. You could actually make mortar, and you could make a badass fireplace. You know,
Yeah,
and I would have loved to have seen, especially with your background, I would have loved to have seen it completed. That I think that would have been a
yeah,
really nice
yeah, man.
shelter.
There's so many things, I there's so many things that went through my head, uh, where I was just like, there's so many things that I didn't get to do, and I wanted to finish out that shelter, and man, it was just such a bummer. I had so much to still show. Um, those first few days you're kind of moving slow. Your plans change. I don't know if it was drop shock or what, but I went into the mode of getting my structure done, and then getting out, right? But then, like, that wasn't my original plan going in. So day 4, I'm going back to my original plan of, stretch this out a little bit and build it slowly and take my time and don't use up all my energy, go find food, get water. So yeah, it was a bummer. Day 4, I was back hitting my stride and just ready to go and start really, getting to work, and it just came to an abrupt halt. So it's
Yeah, that's
but
that sucks.
honestly, I was thinking, since I got back, I've been so busy since I got back. But I'm wanting to start doing more YouTube videos, and I think I'm just I'm gonna do a video where I build that shelter out to completion, and just kind of, I don't know, show what I was gonna do, and just to get that kind of, it feels like it's undone. I've left something undone,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
hate that feeling. And so I need to start getting out there and building that and just get it completed.
yeah.
It's been haunting
I
me.
want you to. I want to see that.
Yeah.
I would actually love to see that, and I hope you do it. You're just talking about taking your time and stretching the shelter out. That's to me, that's like the wise choice. Some people go in and they throw a shelter together in a couple of days and they can ride that thing out until they're done. I didn't finish my shelter. I piled up, I worked on it constantly and I made it thick. The wall on that thing was probably 3 foot thick,
Yeah.
just debris and logs and stuff. But I didn't dub it finished until day 30.
Yeah.
On day 30, I said, okay, I'm done with the shelter. I have nothing else I can do to it. So it was that long, 30 days,
Yeah.
before I was like, yeah, I'm done with it, because it was
Yeah.
work a little bit and then go find food, work a little bit, go get
Yes.
water.
Yeah. Well, I think
So
I
yeah,
think
I
some
understand.
people, it might be beneficial for them to get their shelter done real quick. Um, but especially a smaller person, like somebody that doesn't have a lot of meat on their bones, it's probably better for them to
Yeah,
get to work real quick. Use all that, use the energy that you have in that moment to get some hard work done. I think that's a good strategy. I think that's a good strategy too. Um, but but for me, I'm a bigger guy. I've got some energy I can live off the fat of the land, as my mom says. Um, I got some time. And so, I wanted to go in, and my intention was to mosey around like a big old bear and just take my time and make my home slowly and sleep under the stars for a while. I was fine with that. Um,
yeah,
and so, yeah, I think for a guy like me, who has some long lasting energy, I mean, it's going to stick around for a little while at least. and a guy that's used to. I'm not, I'm used. I can go several days without eating and be fine. I've done it plenty of times. So I really, I knew that I had the energy to not waste, but to kind of drag that process out. And then also, the longer you drag out building your shelter, like you're going to add more. Like you said, your walls were super thick. Like over time, you just keep on adding stuff to that shelter, and it's going to be exactly what you need it to be in 30 days. It's not just a super quick process. But yeah, I see value in both plans, but like, it just depends, I believe, on the person. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people too, I've met people like that. Once they start something, they can't stop that one thing. They get their mind on that, and if they stop, then they get all anxious about it and stuff. So some people get on there and they got that they just want to get this shelter done,
Yeah.
and then they'll worry about everything else later. But for me, I've always, like I said, to me, survival's a lazy man's game. Like you said, you was just going to lumber around like a big bear. That's the way to do it. I am not a small person. Where I'm from, we call it table muscle. I got
Table
this.
muscle.
I got this thing that sticks out the front of me. And anyways, uh,
Yep.
but I had a little bit that I could spare too.
Yeah.
People, they're saying, "Oh, he's so overweight" or whatever. I think I gained 15 pounds to go on the show because, like you said, you can go ways without eating. Well, I get this thing where I get sick. If I eat and work, I get sick. So all day, if I'm working all day, I don't eat.
Yeah.
And so I usually only eat once a day or whatever. So it was hard for me to put on any.
Yeah.
Um, did you try to put on more weight before you went on the show? Is there any special thing that you did before you went on the show to kind of like prep for the show?
No, this is my running weight, man. Like, uh in between 230 to 260. Biggest I've ever been is 280. Which is big. But
I weigh
I think
295 right now.
yeah, yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
but you're also probably pretty tall. You're what, 6'3" maybe?
Yeah. 6'5", 6'7".
6'5".
So it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's
okay.
up there. It stretches out, but it's still there.
Yeah. See, I am like 5'8". So like 280
Okay.
on me looks way different than 280 on you.
Yeah.
But I carry it well. I was blessed with broad shoulders and good arms. My wife always tells me, "I like your arms," and I'm like, "Thanks, baby."
Yeah.
But she don't say, "I like your gut."
Yeah.
um, but
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
this is my running weight. It's like you. Whenever I'm working, and like my day don't stop. I don't take a lunch break. Like I got stuff to do, and then at the end of the day, that's whenever I eat. And sometimes I eat a little too much because I'm starving. But
Well, yeah, you've been out all day.
yeah, exactly. I'm working hard. I
Yeah.
gotta eat. Uh, but yeah, so I feed myself well, but I'm also super active. I work out all the time. Um, there for a while, I was working out almost, it was like twice a day for most part. About 5 or 6 days a week, I was working out twice a day, doing cardio or like hit classes, and then also lifting heavy weights. And so I'm pretty active, and I'm out hiking all the time and backpacking and camping and out in the creeks and hunting, and so I can pull my own. But yeah, I'm just a bigger guy. But no, I didn't purposely put on any weight for the show. I just went in on my running weight. That's
Nice.
yeah. I
Nice.
just had
There's a
plenty to
there
spare.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that have actually done that. And I don't know if it was just because I mean, at a certain point, when you're just stuffing your face with the fattiest food you can find, you become really unhealthy. And I
Yeah,
learned that when I went out there. I get out there and it's like, God, I'm walking and I'm breathing heavy. I'm sweating this deep, and it's just I shouldn't have done that. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so being able to carry yourself just normally,
yeah.
that's a yeah, got to be a plus.
Yeah, I've seen guys, go in there, they put 30 pounds on that they're not used to carrying around. And then they get out there and they're stumbling around and man, they're just, out of breath. And I didn't want that, uh,
Yeah,
I understand that strategy. It makes sense, because there's a big part of it that might be a starving game. You might not get game. And if you're a smaller guy, I get it. It's not a horrible strategy, but you got to do it right.
yeah. But at the same time, you don't have a whole lot of time. They don't tell you 2 years before you go on the show, hey, you're going to go on the show. It's a very
Right.
small amount of time that you have to
Yeah.
prepare.
Yeah.
So, people, it's not like they get to build up a little bit. If they add on weight, it's fast.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like I
Real
said,
fast.
they're
Yeah.
just not used to
Yeah.
it. Did you have to do anything at home? Did you like we burn wood, mainly burn wood for heat, so before I left, I'm out here in the middle of summer splitting firewood, so is
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
anything like that you had to do before you left?
Uh, doing the homestead stuff, and the Bowyer stuff, like I'm out there working all the time. I'm cutting down trees and hauling them out of the woods on my shoulders, and it's everyday work for me. So, and then I'm building structures, and at my day job I'm building stuff, and uh, so it's uh I didn't purposefully go do like training to be on the show. I didn't train
Yeah,
myself to be on the show. It's just like my everyday life is, um, it's what I out there. The only difference was there wasn't people around. And like
nice.
I'm living in the dirt, but like, out there it's the same. It's the same as here, with the exception of I can't drive down to Sonic if I want a double cheeseburger. Um,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so
well, that'd be
it's
nice.
right. I'd stay out
Yeah,
there forever.
yeah,
uh, but it's that hard work, that hard labor out there that it takes to do that, to do that challenge, to be on alone. I do hard work here too. So it's just part of life. I'm used to that
yeah.
labor. I'm used to that stuff. So I'm trying to think if there is really anything that the thing that I did really practice on was the um foraging skills. uh I know some stuff around here, a little bit, learning as a kid and being out in the woods all the time. You're like, oh, some greens sound really good with this steak, so I'm gonna go harvest some, you know plantain, or uh new growth greenbrier, or whatever.
Yeah,
um those simple things. But that's what I really practiced here, was my foraging skills and plant identification and stuff like that. So that was the main thing that I really studied up on. I studied all the plants for where we were going to be. All I knew was boreal forest, and so I started looking up medicinal and edible plants in boreal forest, and all I had was pictures to go off of. And so I was really excited to get there and get my hands on these things. So I took my knowledge and that became wisdom. And then I was like, whenever you're touching it, you're like, you get that experience. And then I know this
yeah.
plant. So that was the most of the work that I did, was that.
I
That
think
was
I, I think I saw Bruce there. Him and Dave, they are awesome. They'll go through and they'll show you everything. Everything that they can see, they'll show you and they'll tell you. But it's different because I did the same. I did the same thing. I never been there, and so I was studying and I had these books and I was, look on Google or whatever, and you see this picture of this plant and you're like, okay, I'll remember that. And then you get there and it's like, wow, that looks nothing like that picture.
yeah, yeah, 100%. You got to get your hands on those things, man. You have
Yep.
to. get that real life experience. So I'm really thankful for Dave and Bruce. They were amazing, absolutely amazing dudes, man. They really are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are awesome. Um, so hey, have you ever been? You had never been that far north before, in that kind of area before, so it's
No,
all
man.
new.
I'm I've been to Costa Rica and I've been to Haiti on some mission trips. Uh, a while, like, whenever I was a kid. But like I'm from the South, man. Arkansas. Like I'm an Arkansas boy. I live in Missouri now, but yeah, Arkansas boy through and through. And that's all I know is just this crazy diverse, wildlife and and plant life. There's so many different types of trees and different types of plants, and it's insane. Like there's
Yeah,
no it's going to take a long time to learn everything here. But up in the boreal forest, I was like, oh, there's like two or three different types of trees, and like all the berries are edible. Like there's no poison
yeah.
ivy up there. So
Uh,
I was like, I might stay away from the mushrooms because I still don't know those well. But like, man, pretty much everything here is game. so so
yeah.
it's pretty wild.
I talked to Wyatt. I told me and Wyatt was talking, and we actually talked about they should have a season down here in the lower states.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, down here in Georgia, if you kill an animal, I don't care if it's a squirrel or what, it has to be processed and taken care of right then, because you got about 15 minutes before the bugs get it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, there's plants around here that will kill you.
Yes.
There's plants
Yeah.
around here that'll make you miserable. And that's
Yes.
just walking by them. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't even have to eat them. You're just walking by it and it wants to harm you.
yeah. Poisonous snakes and everything else.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
they should have a season down here in the heat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Man, if they did a season, gosh, down in if my own stomping grounds, I'd be, man.
Yes.
Oh, I'd tear it
Oh
up.
yeah, there'd be no stopping it.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great, man.
Yeah. I know all the rivers and stuff around here. I know how to. It's crazy. I was kind of upset whenever I first watched the episode, and I was like, man, they got a river. I said they got a river. I know all about a river. They put me on a lake. I hate lakes. Lakes suck.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was really happy that I saw a river. I was really
Yes.
happy. I'm not a big lake fisherman. I don't have a boat. I've not been on a lot of boats. I'm strictly river and creeks, man.
Yeah.
I can feed myself all sorts of way in a creek.
Oh yeah. And oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. You got not just even the water, what's the word for it? I'm looking here, the marine vegetation, but man, we got all kinds of different kinds of crayfish and
Yes.
mussels and
Yeah.
snails, and then you get into the
Yeah.
actual fish, and it goes from everything
Yeah.
from tiny fish to monsters.
Yes.
And up there, it was like, hey, I found a frog. Can I eat the frog? They said, no, you can't eat frogs. Man,
I
those are
squished a
fair game
mouse,
back home.
yeah, yeah. Frog legs, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy how different the landscapes are. I've never been anywhere that was like I might as well been walking on the moon out there. It was completely foreign. I've never seen moss like that. I've never seen willows and alders like that. It grew up like a web, and like some of those, I don't know if it was a willow or alder, but some of them would grow like horizontal on the ground and then find a space and then shoot up. And so,
Yeah.
you just have all this web, and it was awful, awful. Here you've got thick brush, but you can like push your way through and mow it down unless you
Yeah.
get caught up in some greenbriers. But for the most part, you're not dealing with uh, uh wooden chainmail of a forest. You know,
That's right.
it's ridiculous, man. It's just like a net of wood. It's horrible, horrible.
So on your uh, what's the word I'm looking for here? The videos, they ask you to do a video, to send into them of you staying out overnight or whatever, you know. Um, and we've seen a lot of that, but is there anything that they left out? Like, is there anything that you thought was pretty cool that they kind of didn't show?
Uh,
Talking about your neck of the woods, you know what I'm saying? You know that area, so there might have been some stuff that they might have left out or whatever.
yeah, I'm trying to think. They made me look pretty darn cool in that video. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I
Yeah.
they showed a lot of the stuff that I wanted them to show. I did whenever I was fishing, I did make a hook out of honey locust thorn. Have you seen a honey
Nice.
locust thorn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um
We got the
and
black locust here. They come out in
yeah,
5 or 6 different. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So yeah, we got black locust here too. We got both. We got a lot of different crazy trees, but yeah,
Oh
those
yeah.
thorns are just wicked sharp. And so I made a hook out of that, caught a fish on that. That was pretty cool. They left that out, and then I can cast like a fly line by hand instead of using a pole.
Oh.
And so whenever I pretty much anytime I'm out in the woods, in my quiver, I've got an old skull can um, that's packed full of fly line and a couple flies. And so I'll take that out, and instead of making a whole pole and or taking a whole pole, I just cast that line. And it works great. I can cast pretty much anywhere I want just with the fly line. And they didn't show much of that, which is fine. It's just kind of my own little fun thing, but I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool though, because I've never actually seen anybody cast a fly line just by hand. Like it's always on the end of a stick.
Yeah, I watched this old timer do it once, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and so I just tried it, and I was like, hey, this actually works pretty good. And I like to pack light whenever I'm going out on a multiple day trek. I just like to take my quiver. It's got pockets on it, pocket for my saw, and like anything I need. And so I just pretty much throw everything on there. I put my bedroll. My bedroll attaches to that quiver as well.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it's a really cool quiver. I use that thing pretty much anytime I'm out in the woods. Just carry everything in there. Uh, but yeah, I don't have to take a pole with me. I can either make a pole, or if I don't want to spend the time making a pole, there's really no need, and I can just cast that line. So that's pretty neat. Uh, and then I did some funny stuff, which I wish they would have shown. I was, I made a trap, but it was like kind of spoofing on the old like Acme traps, the old cartoon where they
Nice.
got a box set up and a
Yeah.
stick holding it up, and you pull the string on the stick and you catch
Yeah.
whatever. I did like a spoof of that, and I thought that was pretty funny. But
Hey,
yeah,
those work. Uh,
they do.
I
They
think I
really
killed.
do.
Yeah, I killed like 18 rats with one of those.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So yeah,
uh,
they showed pretty much everything that I wanted them to, I guess. Yeah.
awesome. Speaking of the killing the rats and stuff, did you? We saw you shoot the squirrel, and
Yeah.
we saw it break your arrow. First, before I get to that, so did you keep both ends of the arrow? Did you take both ends of the arrow back?
I've got one end. The other end was sitting on the side of the cliff that it
Ah,
fell over. And
no.
I was gonna go get it on day 4. I was planning on going get it, and I was gonna utilize all that stuff to make another arrow.
That's what I
But
was
yeah,
thinking. That's whenever I saw that, I actually took a little note. I said, well, he's a bowyer. He's just going to take those 2 pieces of arrow and make another arrow. I said
yeah,
that's what he's going to do. Uh,
yeah. That was the
So
plan.
I saw that coming.
There,
But in the days that you were there, did you have any protein? Like, did you actually get a squirrel? Did you get anything?
no, no, it was all berries. I was just working on that shelter and exploring. What they didn't show was day 3. I went on a big, I don't know if my camera wasn't recording or what, but it was a pretty big hike over to the lake that was in my area. And it was in the opposite direction of where the arrow incident happened. And it was probably about a 3-hour journey, maybe a half a mile away, um, walking through that thicket. It was just, trying to follow the trail, but it was the exact same scenario as day 4, just without the arrow. And
Yeah.
I, and I got to the lake, and at that lake, I had a lot of beaver sign. There was like 3 or 4 different beaver dams, and then
Nice.
across the lake was the biggest beaver lodge I've ever seen in my life. It was huge, and the sun was shining on it. It was like, oh, it was like that's food right there. And I heard a fish jump, um, and yeah, they didn't show that, but uh, in that day, I ate a lot of berries while I was building my shelter as well, and then preparing for day 4, that big journey. So I was
Yeah.
just stuffing my face with berries and drinking a lot of water, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but I actually put out a video, and it was for you guys, just to kind of let you guys know whenever the show first started, whenever they first said that it was coming out. I did a video. I actually broke down the math, and it's like 1% of the time that you're there that people actually get to see. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to split it up. They split that episode up between 5 people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so you don't get to see everything that happened in those days.
Right.
And sometimes they'll switch it up. They even tell you, it might not. It might have happened on day 4, but it's relevant to day 6, so we move it to day 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so on and
Their
so forth. But
their job, is to tell a good story and
yeah,
do it in the most honest way as possible, but also make good TV. And man, I'm telling you what, like the last couple episodes has been real good TV. So like they know what
yeah,
they're doing. They're doing
oh
their
yeah,
job well. It's my job to go over survive, and I did that. And now it's my time to trust them to do what they do, and they're
yeah,
doing a heck of a job. But yeah, of course, they're not going to be able to tell every moment of what you got going on out there. I
yeah.
wish they could. I wish you could get that and like have that, just for your own
Yes,
self. But
me too.
there's just so many hours. How are they going to do that? I don't even know,
Yeah.
thousands of hours. I'm sure. It's just
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Especially the farther it goes on, it gets down to fewer people, but those people that are out there are filming more
yes, yeah,
because it's no longer they're no longer, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to go to sleep. Oh, it's been a rough day, I'm going to take a nap. No, it's I'm cold and I'm hungry and I'm just sitting here staring at the fire. You
exactly,
know,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's how it works. But
yeah,
so yeah, they can't tell it all, but they do try to tell what they can.
yes,
And
yes.
speaking of they are awesome. Did you enjoy boot camp?
Oh man, boot camp was okay. So boot camp was all online for us, right?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about orientation?
No, we'll do the boot camp and then we'll move from boot
Okay.
camp to base camp.
Okay. Yeah. So boot camp, it was a lot of fun. It was all online, but you're sitting there talking to all these crazy awesome people for a week. You're just like, this right here,
Yeah.
and for a week long, you're just like, I don't know what everybody else did really, but like I was like glued. I was here from like the time everybody got on till the time everybody got off. I just treated it like a job. I was like, I got to go to work, and I'm gonna go talk to some really cool people. And yeah, boot camp was amazing. Getting to talk to the crew, getting to meet everybody. I couldn't believe it. I really everything happened so fast for me that like by the time I'm sitting, it was like a couple weeks to get all my video stuff in, right? And like and then here I am like thrust into this Zoom call with all these people, and I'm just like, I'm here. I am doing the alone thing. Like, this is amazing. So it was just I was just trying to process everything, but it was really cool. I just couldn't believe that I'm seeing all the stuff that goes on. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I watched
Oh,
it
yeah.
religiously. Yeah. And then now all of a sudden I'm talking to these people that make my favorite show. And I just couldn't believe it, man. I was starstruck. I was thankful. I couldn't believe I met Dave Holder. I was like,
Yeah.
You're my hero, man. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. It was so cool, dude.
I remember telling Dave and Ryan whenever we got to the base camp, or not even really base camp. Whenever we got to the motel before we went out to base camp or whatever. When I first met everybody, I was like, man, I'm not even playing. When I saw you guys on the Zoom calls and stuff, we were all the same height. Yeah, I said everybody was the same height on there. I said, I get here and everybody's like way down here,
That's great. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Us short guys, man.
Well, Dave said that season 10 was the season of the Giants because you had, I'll start with Luke. Luke was a taller one, and then Wyatt was taller, and then Alan was pretty tall, and then me, I'm tall, so it was just, and then you had like little Ann. Ann was just like this tiny little person. She's so awesome, but anyways, yeah, I understand. I was always a huge fan. Then just getting to meet everybody, and you're just like a kid,
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Yes. Hi, Mikey. Hi,
it.
Mikey.
Yeah. So cool.
How was your base camp?
Base camp was amazing. Not knowing exactly where you're going, like that's the furthest north I've ever been, and like anybody in my family has ever been, and like pretty much anybody I know has ever been, so I really don't think I know anybody that's been to the Arctic Circle. So that was pretty wild, but we get into Inuvik and we're driving to the river to this boat dock, and then I see these jet boats and I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart's pounding. And then it's like, I don't know, like 35-40 minute ride, and then we go around this bend in the river, and then on the side of the river I see all these wall tents, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And Ryan Pender was on the boat with me, and he's like, there's base camp, y'all. And I was just like, oh, it's just this like magical moment happening, and I was like, I can't believe I'm here. I made it, so that was incredible. And then it was several nights of just the coolest people, so much information, and no sleep because it's daytime the whole time. Dark was like not really. It was like somebody was like playing a trick on you. It's like, yeah, it's dark outside, and like it was like somebody holding their hand like over a flashlight a little bit. It was like not dark at all. It was like early morning. That's what it looked like whenever it got dark. It was. I'm sitting there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh, go to sleep. Like, it was horrible.
I bet that would be crazy, man, because your mind and your body's not used to that.
No.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
So I bet that would be I bet that's insane to try to adapt to that. I wouldn't know when to stop.
No, you don't. And
Yeah,
that's the thing. You wake up and then you get to work and then you're like, before you know it, it's like 12 o'clock in the morning. It's,
yeah.
11 p.m. now it's, and it's like, what happened? And why is it not dark? Why? It, and like, I know I'm tired and I'm mentally exhausted, but like, I'm also awake and like, can't turn my brain off. It's just, it was so weird. It really threw your rhythm off a whole lot. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh,
But
I can only imagine.
base camp probably my favorite thing about base camp is whenever they turned us loose on uh being able to shoot the 3D target that was on the beach.
Yes.
I was, oh man, I was so, that was the first time since I started making bows and shooting bows that I hadn't shot every day. I hadn't shot my bow, and like they take your stuff away from you for a while and don't allow you to shoot the bow for like the first, I don't know how many days it was, but it was enough to make me get a little anxious. And I shoot my bow every day. I practice every single day, and so I was getting a little antsy. But when they let us loose on taking our bows out and shooting that target, that was a lot of fun. So, and then we got to go do a little bit of hunting and get squirrel or a rabbit. So that was a lot of fun at base camp, and
That's awesome.
getting to hang out with the cast or the participants was amazing. We played what's that game called? Cube. It's like an old Viking game. Yeah, it's like
The
you
sticks.
throw you throw sticks at sticks. We did that a lot. That was a lot of fun. It was just a cool time getting to talk to everybody. I mean, 10 of the most interesting people you've ever met in your whole life. It's just
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
And they all have this I want to say it's like a not just like a collective knowledge, but they're what you kind of lack in, they are more than willing. They're your
Yeah.
competitors, but they're your friends, and so they're
Yeah.
more than willing to help you
Yeah.
learn something new. They
Yeah.
don't see it as like I'm gonna give information to my enemy over here. It's like, no, man, if you eat this, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really cool. It was really neat seeing how well everybody got along. Um, and we all became like family, and we all still talk pretty much every day, which is amazing. Um, and yeah, it's just absolutely surreal. It was just the coolest freaking experience of my life, Mikey.
Yeah.
That's what it was, man.
I know.
Yeah, dude.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had such a great time. You know what I'm saying? Uh, what was the poundage you were talking about shooting your bow? What was the poundage on your bow?
55 pounds.
55 pounds. That's a good draw weight, especially for moose and bears and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have your bow close by?
I don't. I can go get it real quick. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
it'll take me just a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
I would love to see it. Awesome.
All right. Yeah, so this is the bow. I don't know how well
Oh,
you
that
can
is
see it.
beautiful. Oh, I can see it. That
But
is
yeah, this
beautiful.
is it's Osage orange, um, with copperhead backing, and it's got
Yeah.
buckskin handle wrap. Um, but yeah, this was made by me and my good friend Bondo. He's like a mentor of me, or for me, more than a mentor. Just he's chosen family. That dude's amazing, and he knows everything, like everything. The dude, he needs to be on this show. Like, I'm like, dude, you need to apply. Please apply. You need to be on this. But yeah, me and him built that bow. He taught me a lot on making bows too. He taught me how to do the facet tillering, which kind of gives the belly of the bow more of a rounded profile instead of a flat bow.
Nice.
He taught me how to put tip overlays on and the snake skin on. He taught me a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was just a good time building that with him. So yeah, that bow is very special to me. Building that with Bondo was just a precious moment, and I'm really glad I got to take that with me. That was a super awesome opportunity. But yeah, that's my bow, man. It's and I hunt with this thing.
That's awesome.
It's my favorite way to hunt. I did put a small shelf on here. It's got like a stacked leather shelf, probably about 1/4 of an inch of a shelf. I wanted to kind of overbuild it for the show. I knew there might be a point in time where I'm a little weak, and a little bit of a shelf would help with stability. But usually I like shooting off my knuckle. To be honest, that's the way I learned, and that's just the way I'm most comfortable. But yeah, it's a good shooter, man. 55-pound bow, self bow. That's a lot of bow. I knew I needed something. Usually I'd shoot like a 45-pound bow, 50-pound bow, but I knew I wanted something with just a little bit more punch for those moose. And in case I got charged by a grizzly, and the bear bangers and the bear spray wasn't working, that bow is coming out, but yeah, it was really cool being able to take one of my bows, and especially one that I made with my good friend. Yeah, it's a very special thing.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know too. I'm sure that a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't know, because I've actually spoken to people who don't. That's a wooden bow.
Yeah.
Which means that it has to be unstrung and then restrung and then unstrung and then restrung. You can't just leave it like the fiberglass bow. Once I had the Bear Kodiak, and once I strung that bow, once I got to Canada and I strung that bow, that was it. I didn't unstring it again. Once I set the brace on, I was done.
Yeah.
Those in a competition like this, it takes a lot too to be able to string that 55-pound bow.
Yeah.
And then take the string off and then string it back up, and so that adds another layer of difficulty. And just knowing that going into it, and you still took that wooden bow, shows how confident you really were. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, so I had the opportunity and the ability to take a really, really nice recurve. It was a Black Widow. I can't remember the model, but my good buddy Donnie let me take this bow home and practice for like a week. And I was like, man, I'm a bowyer. Like, I really should take my own bow. Like, but it's also a competition, and pride be damned. Like, I'm not here to promote my business. I'm here to win. And I started shooting with that Black Widow, and man, I'm telling you, it was like holding an alien. Like the handle on it was like at this weird angle, and like, it's got all these weird curves, and I had to think about it. I had to really, really think about my shot placement and how I was holding my arm and how I was standing. And, I couldn't just grab it, get an arrow on it, and connect the way I could with my self bow. I've shot my self bow, I don't even know how many times. I have no idea how many. It's thousands upon thousands of times I've shot this bow, and then other self bows, because I make self bows for a living. And it's just what I know. It's what I do. And so after that week of practicing with that Black Widow, which I loved and it was great, I just couldn't bring myself to take something that felt not natural in my hands. And this self bow self bow is just natural. It's I know it's cliche and it sounds stupid, but it's like an extension of my hand, man.
Oh yeah.
That bow in my hand, I can connect in ways that I can't with a glass bow or a a recurve or laminate
Yep.
bow. I don't know what it is. It's right. It's right for me. So um yeah, it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of yeah, you gotta unstring it and string it back up, and make sure you keep it dry, and there's a lot to it. And a lot of people commented on my arrows, bringing my wooden arrows. And
I was going to ask about that.
yeah, I can make an arrow. I can make arrows out there. It's not a big deal. I mean, arrows are very difficult to make, don't get me wrong, but busting an arrow wasn't a huge deal to me. I didn't want to do it, of course. I didn't want to break an arrow whenever I
Yeah.
was shooting that squirrel. Um, it's a lot of extra work that I didn't want to go through, but I can do it. And so that was kind of my, I guess, thought about bringing, if I'm going to bring a self bow, I better bring some wooden arrows to shoot out of that self bow. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm not gonna just halfway do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it 100%. And so, I wanted to keep to that primitive style and that traditional style. So, and call it pride, call it ignorance, call it whatever you want. It's just what made sense to me, and it's what I was comfortable with, and I was confident in myself to connect with this bow and to connect with the arrows. And I'm not saying connect like in a spiritual way. I'm saying connect on an animal.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah, uh, so it's what I know, it's what I do, and if that's pride, fine. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I was, I was gonna get
Well,
some
it's
food with
it's
that sucker.
it's like this. My bow now. I actually had a mishap with my bow before I went. About 2 weeks before I was about to ship out to go, uh, I had a bad knock on my bow or on my arrow, I mean, or something. I don't know what happened, but I shattered my bow.
Oh
This is,
no.
yes, this is the bow that I've had. And like you were saying, I
Yeah,
didn't think about where to shoot. I just put the arrow on it and let it go,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was nothing. But then now the guys at Bear were awesome. They were. I called them. I was like, look, dude, I couldn't tell them. I said, I can't tell you
Right.
where I'm going, but I'm about to have your bow on television. And it just broke on me. And I'm upset about it. And he was like, what's your address? We're going to send you a new one. I
Oh,
said,
that's
that's so
awesome.
awesome. You guys are amazing. So they sent me a new one, but then, like you were saying, you were shooting that Black Widow and it just felt weird. Well, it's the same bow, but it's brand new.
Right.
And so it's so weird it doesn't have my little grease spot where my hand
Yeah,
sits. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so weird to hold it. And but anyways, yeah. So sticking with your self bow, I mean, that's what you're used to.
Yeah,
You're not going to pick up something completely different and go risk that amount of money on, well, maybe I'll be
right,
able to shoot something with this one.
right,
So I commend you sticking to the self bow, the one that the one that you
right,
gathered animals with before.
right. Well, and like those opinions out there about, well, he's stupid for taking a self bow and wooden arrows, and if he would
Ah,
have taken carbon, he wouldn't have broken it. Well, like, yeah, those points are valid, man. Like, that's a valid point, and like that's stuff that I've already thought through. Like, you're not saying anything new, buddy. Like, I've already thought
yeah,
through this. If you want to take a recurve, a glass bow, and carbon arrows, more power to you. 100%. That's what you got. That's what that's what you think is your plan. Do that, but don't knock somebody else's plan just because you don't understand or you don't agree with it. Um, I know what I'm doing. Like, and I've thought a lot about it. I'm going on a dang TV show alone. Like, of course, I've put some hard thought into this. What are you thinking I'm doing? Just, I'm not squandering this opportunity. I'm putting everything I got into it. These decisions I make, I've thought through long and hard. And so, it's just funny that whenever people have a comment about it, it's like they're bringing something to your attention that you've never thought about. And it's like, wow, like, oh, I didn't know carbon arrows wouldn't break. Oh, a recurve shoots a little bit faster or faster, and so you can shoot it 55 yards. I had no idea. Wow, guy. I'm like
people's opinions though.
Yeah, and that's fine. And like I said, those opinions are valid, and they're true, but they're not for me, man. Like, that's for you, and that's okay. That's what you're gonna do. It's not about it for me. It's not about pride. It's not about. I'm not being prideful here. I'm just doing what I know. I'm doing what I'm comfortable with, and that happens to be something that that is really freaking hard. Like it's just it comes with it. It comes with it, and I love it. So, yeah.
That just adds to the person, though. There's an easy way and there's a hard way, and the easy way is not always the best way.
Yeah,
and you got to stick to what you're used to, man. There's
exactly
even with we'll take it to a different weapon. I rifle hunt. I deer hunt rifle with a rifle. Of course, and I've got a case full of rifles, and I go in there and I can grab any, and I always grab the exact same rifle.
Yeah.
The beat up 30-06 that I've killed.
Yep.
God only knows how many animals with, because I know that when I pull that trigger, that animal's gonna die.
Yes.
And so just sticking to what you're used to. There's no better way to say it.
Exactly.
If you don't do it, then you're liable to screw up.
Right. Well, it's like the great TLC once said, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Don't go chasing waterfalls, man. Yeah. Like, stick to what you know. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. So, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And like, I appreciate those other opinions, and that's fine, but this is mine and this is what I'm doing,
That's right. I always tell people, whenever they tell me I did something wrong, I say, well, you know what, man? I can't wait to do a recap on your episode.
Yeah.
I can't wait till you're on there. I can't wait. I'll be your number one fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Oh God. Yeah. And it's always those people that talk a lot of trash. Everybody, you gotta talk just a little bit. You get that.
Yeah.
They swell your head up for you. They're like, you're awesome. And then you start thinking, oh man, I'm awesome. And so you talk a little bit of crap, but it's the ones that they really get into the talking a bunch of stuff, and those are the ones that have no idea. They go out there and they're I can't do it. I'm done. It's not like an accident like yours. Like I don't remember that one guy's name. He was like, if you see me and a bear fighting a bear, you better help the bear. And he got out there and he saw some bear crap, and he was like, oh man, there's bears here.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But it's those people that like to talk a lot that really just yeah, you understand.
Yeah, they have no idea, and that's okay. They are where they are, and they think they know something that they don't. I've been in their shoes too. I've said stuff that I had no idea what I was talking about, and that they'll learn that lesson at some point in their life. It's okay.
Yep.
It's just part of growing up, part of learning. They'll get there.
Yep. That's exactly right. So, how long did it take you to? I know that you've had that bow for a while, but how long did it take you to make that bow? How long does it take you to make a bow? If you was to, let's say you cut down a tree, you split it into staves. How long does it dry? What's your process for making those?
So theoretically, it's depending on the wood, it's like an inch per year of dry time. But with my Osage or hedge, whatever you want to call it, I call it Osage. A lot of people around here call it hedge, but I let it dry for
down here.
Monkey balls.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. That's funny. There's a lot of people call it horse apples or hedge
Yeah,
apples or but monkey balls, that's a new one. I've not heard that. That's
yeah,
great. I'm gonna start using that.
yeah.
But yeah, it's about a year. I let my stave dry for about a year, 2 years. But I won't touch anything less than a year unless like I'm building it for myself. Because then at that point you can actually get it to about bow profile, and then within a couple months it's ready to, make a bow out of it. You might have some checking where that moisture came out of that wood too fast. But with Osage, if it's linear checking that goes along with the grain, man, you can shoot that bow a lot before it's going to give. But I don't like to force dry. I don't like using kiln dried stuff. I don't like using um, force dried stuff for like bows that I sell. But in a pinch, if I had to build a bow in a pinch, I could get one done in about 2.5, 3 days. Really, I can get a bow shooting in about a day. But I've built a self bow and shot in a competition at the Tennessee Classic in about 2 days. Uh,
Nice.
so
And
yeah,
competition shooting in 2 days.
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And there's a lot of guys that do it too, man. That competition at the Tennessee Classic, it's a self bow challenge, and so these guys get up there and there's a bow shop, and everybody's in there building their bows, and then they go out and they shoot that self bow. They do the self bow competition. It's a lot of fun, man. But a
That's
lot
so
of those guys
awesome.
are building bows in the 2 or 3 days a day. So it's pretty cool to see. Just it's so much fun. But my bows that I sell, it's usually about 3 to 6 month wait. Um, and that's because building bows is difficult. I use all hand tools. The only power tool I use is a chainsaw to cut the tree down. After that,
No,
it's all processed with hand tools. Every bit of everything that goes into my bow making is made with it's all hand tools. It's just the way I like to operate. I think it's because it keeps my mind focused, and I'm not losing my concentration. I'm not working too fast. I could do tillering with a uh, with a big sander, a big table sander or something. I could tiller the bow really fast, but there's a really good there's opportunity to mess up really fast on that sander, and so I'd rather just use a rasp and a card scraper and take my time and do it right. Pay attention to
I've
every step of the way.
I've heard a lot of old timers say power tools are nothing but a fast way to a big mistake.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Um, you can make mistakes with hand tools too. I've done it plenty, but I really get to take my time and just kind of zero in on what I'm doing in that moment. And plus, I believe it adds a little. Uh, it makes it a little more special because
Yeah.
you're gonna
Personality.
pay, yeah, personality, character, um, that you're gonna miss using a power tool. So with a with a draw knife, you can really follow the grain of that wood in the profile of the bow, and sometimes that grain moves really snaky, and so with a draw knife you can follow that snaky grain and get the really pretty snaky profile that you want. Or every bow turns out different. It's really cool using power tools. If I had a bandsaw and you just cut straight strips, you're missing out on all that beautiful character that wood has to offer. And so it's just,
Yeah.
I'd just rather do it that way, man. So
Yeah.
it takes me a
No.
while. Uh,
So do
and
you do you do you make it, you don't have like a stockpile of bows that you've made, do you? Or is it do you make each one to order? Or is each one made like if I was to order a bow today, you would make that bow for me special?
yes, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I don't have a back stock of bows. I don't have just a bunch of bows made. Um, yeah, it's all pretty much custom work. Like you order a bow, I ask you what you want, and you pay me money and then I give you bow. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
super,
awesome though.
yeah. And each bow, and you know, in that process, I tell those people, like, it's not going to be perfectly, it's not going to be a factory bow. Like, it's not going to have, you know, perfect straight streamline lines. It's going to have some character to it, and you're going to be able to see, you know, uh the grain isn't going to, it's going to be snaky. It's not going to be a straight line. You know, there's going to be some knots in it.
Yeah,
And
it's wood.
so if you're, it's wood,
Yeah.
it's going to be primitive. um and I use all hand
That's the
tools. Now,
beauty of it.
it, like with this, like, it's, you don't see any hand tool markings. It's polished and shiny and really beautiful. Um, so, you know, I go through the time and effort to make it as finished as possible, but you can still tell it's handmade, handcrafted, and I think that adds a little bit to that bow. You know, it's special. Each bow is different individually, and each bow is special because of that. And so yeah, if you come to me for a bow, you're going to get a one of a kind working piece of art. You know, that's,
Yeah. How how custom do you make your bows? Like if I was to order a bow and I said, you know, I want a 72-inch long bow, deer antler tip overlays with whatever back in that. Do you do that?
yeah. Sometimes backing is if I can get the backing, then I'll do it. But you know, that price increases for the type of backing. Sometimes it's really
Yeah,
difficult to get
of course.
copperhead skins, and then, you know, some people want something crazy like a sturgis skin on the back of it, or sturgeon. It's not sturgis, sturgeon
Yeah.
skin on the back of the bow. Or I saw a guy put a channel cat skin on a bow once, and you know, I've never done any of that. But if you want one on there, then I guess I got to go catch me a channel cat and hope it's big enough. And, you know, so like, you got to pay for that, you know, so
Yeah.
I can
Well,
go
of
as
course.
custom as you want. I can go as custom as
Awesome.
you want. So, but mostly what I do is I'll do, copperhead, snake backing, rattlesnake. And then I can also do those in synthetic, snake skins, like a silk printed snake skin. And then I can do sinew backed, or sinew and rawhide, or just rawhide, or no backing. With Osage bows, all my bows pretty much are Osage. And with Osage, you really don't have to back the bow. You can, but it doesn't. It's not necessary. So
More of an aesthetics thing.
yeah, it's an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
And then you can also add a little bit of poundage with like a sinew, um, to make that bow just like a couple more, you know, pounds heavier, just like a little faster. But yeah, for the most part with my bows, it's, you know, with Osage, it's back just fine with that, chasing that growth ring, you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then you can paint it, of course.
Awesome.
But yeah, my custom stuff, it's mainly just like, what do you want your handle wrapped in? You know, buckskin, or, you know, do you want, you know, no buckskin on your handle? Do you want it just naked? Do you want a shelf or no shelf? You know, do you want uh
Awesome.
you know, what kind of tip overlays do you want? That kind of thing. So, and then I also do like wood burning. I'll like, my wife, whenever I built her bow, she was like, "Can you wood burn like a lavender plant on the side of it?" She really loves lavender, so, you know, I would
I
burn that
saw
into
that
there.
video.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Thank you. So I'll do stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, write little messages on a bow, or, you know, name it whatever you want to name it. Or if you want, like, you know, you got a lot of these people that like, you know, Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, so they want their bow to be a little elvish looking. So, you know, I'll try to add some cool curves to it, and the tip overlays I'll make a little bit more dramatic. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm gonna put a link to your website in the description for this video, and so
Thanks, man.
people can, you know, get a hold of you and maybe check out some of your work.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate that.
Uh, where was I? I was actually thinking about something else. Oh, how did your back to everything else? How did the what was the recovery like? I saw they were walking you out. I mean, what happened after that? Whenever they came and got you, what happened after that?
Yeah. So they got there and Ben took that wrap off that I had on there, squirted some saline fluid through it into the wound while I was in there or like out there.
Well, that's
He
nice of
wrapped it.
him.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Ben. He really did. He took care of me, man. He made
Yeah,
me
Ben's good people.
oh man, I love that guy. But yeah, he put a new bandage on me. And then we got in the boat and it was like a 30-minute ride back to another boat, and then it was like 35-minute ride to the dock, and then like 15 minutes or 20 minutes to the Inuvik ER. And ER time was like, oh, I don't know. I was there for a couple hours maybe. Um, they put 2 or 3 liters of saline fluid through the wound, so they washed it out really well. Pardon me. They washed it out really well. They went and x-rayed it, made sure I didn't hit the bone, and didn't have any like internal bleeding or anything. And then they just cleaned it out really well and gave me some antibiotics and sent me on my way. I'm glad I didn't sew it up while I was out there. I was really thinking about it. The hooks I took, I could actually heat up and bend instead of them just breaking. So the hooks I took, they were like the what is it, American Eagle or Brass Eagle? I can't remember the name now, but
Golden Eagle.
yeah, Golden Eagle. So you can bend those, and I was gonna sharpen it and start stitching myself up. Like I was having all these thoughts, and I get there and they're like, "We're really glad you didn't stitch it up because you don't stitch up puncture wounds because they wanted it to heal from the inside out." And so if I would have closed it up, then I would have closed up a lot of harmful bacteria. And
Yeah.
so I'm glad I didn't do that. But yeah, they just wrapped me up and sent me on my way. Got back to camp, and I was there for a couple weeks at camp, changing the bandages like twice a day for several days, and then it was like change, and then we had to like leave the bandage on there as long as we could, change it every few days, kind of thing, not mess with it so much. But I bled through the bandages. I think it was like for like 3 days. I just like
Wow.
it was just like oozing and bleeding and swelling. It swelled up crazy. It bruised. My whole thigh was just a massive bruise. I'll send you the pictures that
Yeah.
Ben sent me that he took. They're really brutal. And then I just had this
Uh,
big gaping black wound that was just open. It was just coagulated blood, and like it was so gross. But
oh
so
man.
it was about 2 months of heal time. I couldn't walk right for about 2 months, and it finally closed up after a couple months.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, so I
That's
was
what
there
I
in
was.
camp for a couple weeks. I couldn't walk well. I like for the first like 3 or 4 days was not much walking at all. And then I finally was able to start walking around a little bit, but not very well. It took me a while to stop limping.
Did they feed you good at camp when you came out?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not used to eating 3 meals a day and 2 snacks, man. That I actually I was very polite about, as polite as I could be, and let the ladies know that I was really thankful for them, but I was like, I don't need the snacks. I'm okay. It's a little too much food. I feel like I'm just eating all day. But then after the initial shock of being out uh passed, I was like, can I have my snacks again? So yeah, man, the food was delicious. And I love the team there. I love the kitchen team. I was really happy I got to meet them right before I left out to come back home. They came out and said bye and or said hi to me. I got to meet them and I said bye. If you listen to this, ladies, I love you and your food is delicious. Please come cook for me again.
Was Miss Chris the one that helped take care of you?
uh no, Esri. I don't know if you know Esri, but Esri was
Uh,
my buddy. They uh they were there for me whenever I got out, and they really helped me. They brought me my food, and it was just really good talking to them. And uh, yeah, I cannot wait to see them again. They're just a wonderful human, and but yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with Esri. She's very special to me, so I just appreciate it. And um, but yeah, I made a bow. I made like a little kid's bow. Well, not it wasn't even a kid's bow. It was just like a little like miniature bow. And I gave it to him just kind of as a thanks for taking care of me. They were just really supportive whenever I came out and helped me talk through what I was feeling and helped me process the emotions of everything. And like I said, they brought me my food. They did my laundry. Um, helped me get to the shower, and they did a great job taking care of me. And I love you, Esri. If you listen to this, you're amazing.
yeah, they really do, man. A lot of people don't understand. They really do go above and beyond to try to take care of you,
Yeah,
And there's a lot of emotion when you come out, uh,
yeah,
and they're there to help you with that.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Ben, also the medic. Ben is,
Best hugs ever.
man. I don't know. I think I saw it on there. He was like, "You want a hug?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll take a hug."
Yeah.
He gave me a hug every day, man. Every time he came and
Yep.
checked on me, he's like, "You want a hug?" And of course, I obliged. And like, I'm just so thankful for Ben too. He was a good friend to me in that moment, and just he was really encouraged me to make sure I was writing all of my feelings down, and the whole. He was like, just write every day down, like what happened throughout the day, and write these things down, what you're thinking about. Just get something on the paper, and I wouldn't have written anything down if it weren't for Ben, and so I'm really thankful for him. He helped me process everything that I was going through. So that dude's amazing too. Big shout out to him. And then,
Yes.
man, Raph and Ryan and Jeff, those dudes are just pure gold. Everybody, the whole crew, Cable, I mean, Luke, everybody was just, um, I want to be their friends and I want to hang out with them all the time. They're just amazing
Yeah.
folks. The safety crew are all so cool. Man,
Yes.
it's just a good group of people, and they all really just pitched in to take care of me while I was healing at camp and just looking out for me. And it's just a incredible experience. Just so kind. And yeah, base camp
Yep.
was awesome, man. Yeah.
So, of course, everybody's probably already asked you already, but I have to ask you too. If they call you back, are you going to go back? If there was a
100%.
redemption season, yeah,
100%. Um, my time got it was just ripped away from me in a moment, and I have a lot of unfinished business, and I'm not a man that leaves finish or business unfinished. I get my stuff done, and I do it, and I do it well. And yeah, so I still have a goal to do what I originally set out to do, and I hope and I pray that that opportunity finds me again. um it's just such a devastating thing that I got taken out the way I got taken out. It really weighs on
It's just
me.
a freak accident.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
is, but the weight of it's still there, and like, it's, I think about it. There's not really a day that's gone by that I've not thought about it. So yeah, Mikey, 100%. I want to go back, and I emailed Pender. I've emailed him a couple times and just been like, hey, I want another shot. Like, I'm serious. Like, please, what do I need to do to get back out there? And he's like, Cubby, like, uh, you are officially like on my list, like, of the
Yeah.
people that need to come back. And so I really appreciate that. And I hope it's true. I hope it happens. I've got a lot more to offer than what I gave in those 4 days. I gave everything I could in those 4 days, but, um, there's a lot more to offer, and
Yeah.
hopefully
That
they
was
know
just
that. And
it was the beginning, man.
yeah,
I could see, by what you were doing, that it was just the beginning. And like I
yeah,
said, it's a freak accident, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
There was so many things. There's so many things that we all do out there that is so dangerous, you know. Just working with your knife on a
yeah,
daily.
yeah,
Yeah.
every day.
And yeah, and it's just little accidents like that, man. That wasn't,
Yeah,
and I believe I said it on my little recap that I did. That wasn't, you didn't give up on it, you know. You didn't sit there and make a conscious decision to say, this, I just don't want to do this, you know.
right.
It was like you said, it was basically taken.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, there's nothing you can really do with that.
yeah,
Like you get, even I don't care what anybody says, you know. And if you would have tried to stick it out more, then you might have been one leg down. So it's
yeah,
you still
yeah,
have another chance now, you know.
yeah.
I hope it happens. I hope there is a redemption season, and I hope that you are on it. You
Oh, thanks,
know,
man. Thank you.
yeah, because you had so much more to offer, so much more to give to it, and just
Yeah,
you weren't allowed to at that
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so,
I really, while I was sitting at base camp healing up, I'm sitting there on the side of the river, and actually Dave he told me about a staff sling. He's like, "You ever made a staff sling?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You should check those out. They're really cool." And so that evening I went into my tent and did some research on what a staff sling was. And the next day I was sitting there making a staff sling, and he came out again and he's like, "How's it going, man?" I was like, "Man, check this out." And I whipped this staff sling, chunked this big old boulder of a rock way out into the river. And I was like, "These are amazing." And I was like, "Dave, I'm feeling pretty good, man." And I know I'm not walking around too much, and I'm not really allowed to, but uh could you take me back to my place, my shelter, and just let me finish this out? And he's like, "No, man, we can't do it. We can't do it." And I was like, "Man, I'll go back out right now. Right now, I'll go back out." So I want it, and that fight is in me. Even with an arrow just being pulled out of my leg, I'm sitting there thinking about how can I stay. So I didn't want to leave, and my time, you know, it ended just way too soon. It ended way too soon, and
yeah,
I've got a lot to do. So I really do hope I get back out there. 100%, I do it again, man. 100%.
I hope so. I hope you get the chance to. Uh,
Yeah,
a lot of people, I have read things. My wife, she shows me a lot of stuff that pops up. Like I said, I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media other than the YouTube, but she shows me stuff sometimes when it pops up, and people were talking about, oh, such and such, they shouldn't have gotten another chance or whatever. That takes a chance from somebody. That accident took that chance from you. You know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, you didn't sit out there and start crying and give up. You got stabbed in the leg. By how
right.
deep did it go in?
It was about 4 inches. So I marked
God.
it. I marked it with my saw right right before I. So I marked it, and then I went right above it, and I started to saw through that shaft because I was gonna. My original plan was just to secure that shaft up against my leg really tight, and just leave that broadhead in there because sometimes those broadheads will staunch the bleeding, uh, or some. If you get stabbed, it's holding that blood in.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to take it out. But I realized very soon, messing with that there was a lot of it could move. There was a lot of room for error, and I'm really close to my femoral and really close to my popliteal or whatever, however you pronounce that, in the back of the leg. And I'm so. Anyways, I marked it, and then eventually I get to the process of pulling it out, and I realize, like, man, this thing's still coming. I thought it was just the broadhead buried, but it was another
Yeah.
couple inches down there. So it was about 4 inches. Really, it's 3 3/4 of an
Wow.
inch. Is how far it went in.
Wow. Three
Yeah,
and three quarters of an inch. 4 inches. I'm sitting here, I'm
yeah.
trying to think of something that I can compare that 4 inches to. I mean, what, a Coke can?
Uh, let's see
Yeah.
here. This is a pin, right?
Yeah.
So that's about four
Wow.
inches or so. That's actually about like that. Little
Wow.
hangover.
Yeah.
About like
See,
that.
that's insane.
So
That is
imagine a
that,
broadhead, and then a couple inches after that broadhead.
yeah. God, that is
Pretty crazy.
insane. Yeah, I mean, that's wider than most people's phone screen that is watching this right now. That
Yeah.
deep in your leg. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
God, that is just. Oh, did you bring the broadhead home?
Oh yeah, I brought that broadhead home.
Yeah,
I yeah.
yeah,
I whenever I got to camp, that was like I was like, "Did you get the broadhead?" They're like, "Yeah, we got it." And I was like, "Don't wipe the blood off. Like, leave it. I want that. That
yeah.
broadhead is coming home with me." So yeah, I left it at my archery range that I help out at. Um I did a watch party out there last Saturday, and I actually left
Wow.
it out there. Uh, and I was gonna bring it, but I totally forgot. It's been a long weekend, and that was the one thing I forgot. It's still sitting at the pavilion at the archery range. So, but I wanted to bring it and show you. But yeah, it's still got the blood on there, and it's got the mark where I marked how deep it was, and then it's got the mark for my Leatherman. Uh, yeah, I had it close
Send me
by
a
when I.
picture of it whenever you get it.
Yeah. Yes, I will. I will.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's
100%.
crazy.
Yeah.
You just talk about Dave shows you the staff sling and
Yeah.
or put it in your head or whatever. That is just the most super cool guy. Whenever you first go out there, he's like, I want to tell you everything, but I can't tell you anything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then when you come out, he's like, I'm going to tell you everything, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Awesome. He actually, I carve. I do a lot of carving.
Nice.
And yeah, and so I didn't really know what all to bring with me. I didn't have that mindset. Well, once I come out of the woods, I'm going to be there for a week and a half, 2 weeks, with just twiddling my thumbs, looking at a tent. You know, so I brought very minimal stuff with me. I brought my little bushcraft knife and stuff, and I was in there carving out little spoons and stuff with that. And this man brought me his spoon knife, and
Oh, that's awesome.
yes, he left it with me the entire
Oh,
time I was there. Yes,
what a wonderful dude,
with me. Yep,
man. Yeah, he's a good
that is
soul, dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Salt of the
all
earth
are.
right there. Yeah, they really are.
Yep.
I was impressed, man. I really was. I wish they could those 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 people need to be shown. Like I wish people could see just how awesome those folks are, because they're equally as amazing as these other people that are on this show. Like I just think really highly of the whole crew. I love all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
just gold. Yeah.
When I was out there in the field, I ran out of arrows. That moss was just eating my arrows, and so I ran out of arrows pretty quickly. You was talking about if it was a carbon arrow, it wouldn't break. I took some carbon arrows and I snapped one in half on the side of a tree, so
Yeah.
they break
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
But anyways, I ran out of arrows and I made so many arrows out there. Like I
Yeah.
was napping glass. I was making fine bone. I was making little bone points and stuff, and I
Yeah.
even carved. I carved a wooden broadhead that looked like a stone arrowhead, and that
That's
thing was
awesome.
awesome. Yeah,
That's cool.
and but whenever I came out, I still have one, but I gave one to damn near everybody out there. And if you
That's
didn't get
cool.
an arrow, you got a spoon. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, because they were all just so great. It
Yeah.
wasn't that they were all just so cool that
Yeah.
I just wanted to leave them with something. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 That's super neat.
Yep.
I didn't think about that, like gifting the people that are there whenever you get out. And I'm sure I would
Yep.
have if I had more time out there. I would have made all kinds of stuff, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, mine was out of necessity.
yeah.
I wish that because I made a bunch of fishing lures and stuff. Like I've got this thing. If I'm sitting here, uh, in the time where the phone was messing up, in that time I was cutting pieces of wood. Because yeah,
Yeah.
because I can't sit. I have to be doing something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so if I was sitting still, I was making something. It didn't
That's
matter what.
awesome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but they were just all. Everybody was so great the whole time I was there that
Yeah.
everybody needed something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
even the ladies that were doing the cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
made spoons for them and stuff. But
Yeah. That's so cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yep. But I can't wait. Hopefully they'll have the redemption season, and
Dude,
I would love to see you out there.
thanks, man.
Yeah,
I
I know.
appreciate that.
Uh, and thank you. I appreciate you taking your time to do this. Uh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I wanna get an interview with everybody and kind of give you a chance to kind of tell your side of the story because everybody sees what happens on the TV, but
Right.
there's so
Yeah.
much more to it. There's so much
Yeah.
more to
There
it than
is.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
So,
like, I mean, that's, with the arrow in the leg, like, nobody saw, uh, there's a whole there that whole process was a lot longer than it shows there. And, so people might, think that it was a really quick rash decision and, I should have stayed, but it also didn't show, all the blood that was there. Cause like the blood was running down my leg underneath my knee and then going down my calf. And so, people are like, "Oh, it didn't bleed that much." Well, it bled a lot. It bled a lot. And
yeah,
like, whenever they're they put a new bandage on, and so like you don't really get to see a whole lot of blood. And then whenever I'm checking it um on that rock, that was like the third or fourth time I've checked it, and I've wiped it clean and then like put a lot of pressure on it, like, and then I would take that bandage off after like 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden blood, and then I'm covering it back
yeah.
up. And so,
Oh,
they didn't
so
see
see,
all
it was
that.
that was so it was the better part of the day that you sat there at hours. It sounds like that you sat
Yeah.
there with that wound in your leg. You know,
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
people that didn't see the blood are blind. I've shot animals with arrows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know where the
Yeah.
blood goes down. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not like it just goes out everywhere. Blood
Yeah.
goes down. It
Yeah.
finds a route down. So
Yes.
there was a lot of blood. You could see the blood coming
Yeah.
out the bottom of that wound. You know.
Yeah. 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 Um, it is what it is. They like I
Yeah.
said, like they did a great job at telling the story, the way it happened. And of course there's gonna be a little bit of dramatic flair here and there, with the yell or whatever. But like they're here to tell a good story, that grips the person watching it. And hopefully that connects with somebody in a positive way. And you know I think there's a lot of good that has already come out of it. Me being on the show, and I've connected with people, and I think that's really cool. So all over, like, there's no bitterness in me. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Uh, I'm frustrated that it was so soon. But I'm really all over just thankful and grateful, and just I still can't believe it. How many times in your life does a dream come true, Mikey? It's not a whole
That's
lot,
right.
and this one did, and um, there's it's just amazing. It really was. I'm just so thankful
Yeah,
and grateful. Yeah,
it is. It's an amazing experience.
yeah, life changing, and
Life
I get to
changing.
freaking talk to Mikey from season 10. What? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I've talked to so many folks that I've watched hours of on the show, and you know, back whenever I was watching you, I was like, man, this dude seems like a really just stand up dude, and he's doing it for all the right reasons, and man, he's putting up a good fight, and just I saw that and was just really proud of you, and just like thought highly of you, and like this dude that I saw and that I admired, now I get to sit here and talk to you, and that's just amazing. And getting to talk, I did the I got to talk to Luke and Carrie, and like and then I've talked to uh Colton, and or no, what's his name?
Coulter. Coulter.
Coulter. Yeah, I got to talk to Coulter. That dude's awesome.
Yeah.
All these Biko, all these guys that and gals that I've watched over the years. I've gotten to chat with them, and like that's so dang cool, man. Like what? What?
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
appreciate
It's
it, man. Kind of made me blush. You know what I'm saying?
well, man. I respect the heck out of you, and I think you did a heck of a
Oh
job. And
man.
I hope you and your family are doing well. And I just thought the world of you. And I whenever you reached out, I was like, dude, whenever you did the YouTube video the other day, I that made my heart so full. I was like, man, this guy, he's saying all these really nice things about me. And so yeah, I just appreciate
It
it,
was the
man.
truth of what I saw. You know what I'm saying? I
Well, I
appreciate it.
appreciate that.
And yeah, man. As soon as I saw that, I said, this guy, this is a beast right here. This was a this. It, it blew my mind. I even whenever I watched it, my wife was asleep, and I was like, he just pulled an arrow out of his leg.
Yeah.
He just pulled an arrow out of his leg. I told her then. I said, I'd have threw up. I said, as soon as I pulled it out, I'd have threw up.
Man, I grew up like just playing hard, and so
Yeah,
that meant bike wrecks and skateboard wrecks and falling out of trees, and you know not completing the backflip correctly off the cliff into the creek. And so I've been broken and battered, and this is just another one of those moments. I'm playing out in
yeah.
the woods and I stick myself. I've got to deal with this. And I really think in that moment it was just like, for some reason, I was able to do what I had to do to save myself and keep myself safe and get out of that situation. And I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm thankful that I have both my legs. I didn't get an infection. I didn't get septic. You know, I was able to go home and see my wife. So you know, I'm glad that it transpired the way it did. I tell people now, it's like Forrest Gump. It's the $1 million wound. It hit me in the
Yeah.
right spot. Like, I could have been
Yeah.
dead. I really could have died.
Yep.
Just an inch up, I could have died. or I could have
Yep.
split my tendon. I could have, hit the artery that runs up the. There's all kinds of stuff that could have happened that didn't, and so I'm just thankful to be here. Really am.
Yeah.
I don't think
For
people
such a
really understand that. You know
for such an unlucky accident, you got really lucky with it.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the way it went in too, you can see kind of the way it went in. If it would have been at a steeper angle,
Yeah.
then it would have really done some
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah. It rode like yeah, if it would have like come in like this, like
Yeah.
straight in, but it luckily it kind of came up like this at an angle, and so it wasn't 4 inches through my leg, it was four
Yeah.
inches up into my leg, which was still terrifying and
Yeah.
awful.
Still. Yeah.
But it, yeah,
Oh,
if it would have
it was
went,
just up. It wasn't even that bad.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, you're right, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
uh but yeah, it could have really done some damage. So you know, I really believe God was with me in that moment, and gave me through my life. I feel like I got the experience and the uh mental fortitude to do what needed to be done in that moment to deal with that injury and keep myself safe. I try to be that person for the rest of my family and friends. I try to be the guy that has things under control, and it was nice to see myself provide that need for myself in that moment. I've always done that for other people, but I've never really had to do that for myself. And so in that moment, it was cool to see my I was still that calm, collected, doing what needs to be done to get out kind of guy in a freak moment. I was
Yeah.
I was safety. I was the safety that I am for my family, for myself, and that was. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it
Yeah.
does. I play that same role.
Yeah.
Uh, but one thing that I'm sure that some people do think about it, but a lot of people that watch this show, they're not medically inclined or anything. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I've been stabbed by things and I've been cut and stuff like that. I lost the tip of my finger. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a table saw took that from me. It didn't
Yeah,
get the
buddy.
bone though. Yeah, it didn't
Oh.
get the bone though, so I was all right.
Woo.
Uh, but a lot of people don't understand. You pulled that out. If you would have waited 30 minutes to pull that out, you wouldn't have been able to because
Yeah.
it would have swelled around that broadhead.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so just being able to have that focus in your mind to know that yeah, take it out or leave it in. It's got to come out, or it's going to swell up, and then every move that I make, it's just going to cut.
Yep.
You know, that's what it's made for. It's made to kill
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
made to just poke you. It's made to do a lot of damage. So being
Yes.
able to have that in your mind to take that out, man, that took a lot of strength, a lot of mental strength.
Yeah. I knew it was my only option, because of where I was at. I mean, I'm really far away from uh my camp, and I'm sitting on the edge. You can't really see it in that video, but like just 10 feet in front of me is an 8 foot drop, uh cutback, bank. I'm sitting on the bank of the
Yeah,
river, and it's a cutback, and there's mud at a 45-degree angle into the water. I'm a 240, 250 pound guy. Like how are they going to get me out of here?
yep,
And I'm in the thickest brush I've been in ever. Um, they're gonna, in order to carry me out of here, because they're gonna have to carry me. I can't walk with this in my leg. They're gonna have to carry me out. They're gonna have to cut a trail that's gonna be hours and hours and hours. I have to get. I can't just sit here and wait for a bear to come get me. Um, I have to get to safety, and so that's all that's going through my head, and yeah, I'm just glad. I'm glad I was able to get that out. It was my only option. It really was. I thought it through for a long time sitting there. After the first like 5-10 minutes, I realized I'm not gonna die. I've still got my wits about me. I still got my head is in the game. I'm still here. My breathing is fine. I'm not going into shock. I'm a little shaky, but that's just adrenaline. So I was very collected in that whole process. And it was a long process. It was about 15-20 minutes of me sitting there trying to assess the situation, seeing what's going on. And finally, the last option was pull it out, put some. I was actually reaching for the tourniquet, but I grabbed the Israeli bandage instead, and I just tightened that thing as tight as I could and called it good and took off. Life.
You're lucky that you had your med kit there, or your emergency kit there with you.
Yeah.
Most of the time I was out there, it was in a bag in my shelter.
Yeah.
No matter where I went, and looking back at it after seeing this, looking back at it, that was a very stupid thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Because at any point in time, anything can happen.
Yeah. I think the habit of the quiver that I use, it's it, it has like they actually made me remove one of the pockets, but it's usually got two pockets on it. I can't remember which one I removed. I think I removed it's got a pocket that has an area for your like for a water bottle. So it's got a water bottle pocket and then like a side pocket where I usually keep my saw for like whenever I process deer. Um, and I think I took that one off, and then I had a little pouch up top that was a pocket. And I'm used to like throwing bandages and my fire starter and fishing line and like a little bit of cordage. I'm used to throwing stuff in there to take with me on these long treks. And so it was just kind of second nature. Whenever I saw that tourniquet and that bandage, it was like, I'm going on this long trek. I might need some stuff. So everything's going in here. My ferro rod, all my fishing gear, and those bandages. That's all going in there. And so, thank God I put those in there. If I wouldn't have, I still would have figured something out. I had a t-shirt on. I've got my belt on me. I could have made a tourniquet out of something.
Oh, you
But
could tell that your mind was in the right place. You could have, yeah, you could have came up with something.
yeah, I was prepared to deal with the worst.
Yeah,
You can't prepare for everything, but you can prepare for making sure you're going to be safe, or you can come up with a
yeah,
solution to fix anything in the moment. So
yeah. You can prepare to be prepared. That's
exactly,
that's right.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Prepare for the worst.
So, uh, that's a true survivalist comment there. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Yeah, yeah. You have
Uh,
to be.
yep. So, I don't know if anybody's asked you, but it was something that I was thinking of. Uh, when the arrow went in, was it just immediate pain, or was it like, did you not feel it at first? You knew you could tell it was in there, but was it just immediate excruciating pain, or was it like a really bad burn, or what did it feel like?
So
If you can describe it.
the initial moment, it was just like it felt like a tightness, um, like a pinch, like trying to think. Um, have you ever been working on something small with your hands, and you go to grip, and like you get like something pops in your knuckles, or like you almost feel like
Does the whole
yes, yeah,
little,
it's like
yes,
cramped up and you can't
yeah,
move it. That's kind of like in a little spot in my leg. That's what it felt like. And it just felt really tight. Like I couldn't move my leg the way that I should be able to. And I looked down and I realized, oh, I've got this arrow in my leg. I had actually I stepped with I led with my left foot through this brush. I was breaking through this really thick brush. It caught me, it caught my hair, and actually like made me stumble back. And that's whenever that arrow came out. I believe whenever I was stumbled back, that brush held on to one of my arrows and pulled it out. And or I was leaning over, whatever it was, just trying to get through that brush. And whenever I took a couple steps back, and then like at this point, I'm kind of irritated because my hair's getting caught, my beard's getting caught, my clothes are getting snagged. I had holes all in my shirt. Like it's just everything. The woods are trying to eat me. And I just, I took a big heavy step with my left foot and kicked through this brush and then like pushed through. And then I felt like a tightness in my leg, and I looked down and I thought it was just like a stick. And so I shook my leg and then stepped down again. And that's when I realized, oh, something's not right. Something's not right. And I looked
you
down
caught
and
it twice?
yeah.
Oh man.
The second time coming down was the heavy step, and that's whenever I realized, oh, there's this pinching pain and I can't move my leg. And so I look again and I realize, oh, it's an arrow. And then I turned the camera on and I'm like, I'm so sorry, Sid. Like my wife, I'm so sorry. I love you. And, pretty much saying my goodbyes, because I'm like looking at this arrow in my leg and I'm like, that's where my femoral is. Like, this is bad. And then Ryan Pender in the back of my head is going, record everything. If you don't get it on camera, it never happened. And so I was like, I have to get this on camera. Every step of this, every moment from here on out has to be recorded. People got to know why I went out and that I had no other option.
Yep.
Or people need to know why I chose to try to stick it out. That's what was going through my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the pain didn't really come until well, on the walk back. There was like, all this adrenaline's pumped up. I just got this arrow out, put the bandage on, got my stuff, and I'm like getting back, and then like I'm limping a little bit, but then like halfway there, I'm just like dragging my leg at this point. And like there's a couple spots where I was like crawling. I lost my wedding ring out there because I'm like fighting my way through all this brush and like dragging myself and dragging my leg over the logs. And by the time I got back to my shelter, I was pretty whooped. And that leg was already swelling up and red and puffy, and couldn't really bend my leg anymore. My knee was swelling up really bad. That's when the pain hit, is in that walk back. And then the pain really came the following few days. I didn't have any pain medicine. It was just antibiotics. And the swelling was crazy. The bruising was crazy. Every step was just like jarring. Every step, it would just like pound on, it would just shake that whole thigh muscle. And it was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah.
It's like the main pressure point of your leg.
Yeah. Everything
that's the
goes
part
right
that
there.
absorbs all the shock.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's where the pain was initially. No pain. It was just like, that's an arrow in my leg. Yeah, I can't move it. Oh, it's pinching a little bit. That's weird. But I've been stabbed in the arm as a kid, like riding my little chrome mongoose with the handle grips. The handle grips are torn off on the sides, so your bar's a little bit exposed, and you take a spill and you wreck, and it jams into your arm. So I've had those wounds. I've shot myself in the hand with a nail. Many times, yes. Unfortunately, I've done it multiple times. I've cut myself with tools. I've stabbed myself in the arm with a spoon knife. I don't know if you can see that.
I can.
But it's like it's a smiley face. And I was carving this spoon, and I'm like holding this spoon like this, stupid. I'm giving a lesson. I'm giving a lesson on knife safety. And man, I just scoop and then I hook that into my. So I'm used to it. I'm used to the pain. I'm used to stabbing myself. Unfortunately.
This is what you don't do.
Yes, this is what, and that's exactly what I said. You don't do this. He's like, did you just stab yourself? I'm like, yeah, I did. So this is the second time I've stabbed myself. But yeah, you've cut yourself, I'm sure, plenty of times. You're a woodworker.
Oh yeah.
It felt like that. You know,
Just like,
it
oh, I got
was,
cut.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, whenever
It,
I cut it's hard to tell, but if I line them up real good, you can kind of see
yeah, it's a
one's
little
taller than
shorter.
the other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was working on these people's house, and I was pushing this trim through the table saw, and the trim it like kicked back a little bit on me or something, and it just like the way I was guiding it with my finger just went right across the blade, and cut it at an angle,
Oof.
and I reached up and I grabbed my hand like this, and I looked at the homeowner and I said, I just cut my finger off, and he said, no, you didn't. I said, no, I need to use your bathroom. I just cut my finger off. I was like, I need a rag or something.
Yeah,
By this time, there's blood just pouring out of my hand. I was
yeah,
like, I
yeah,
really need something.
yeah.
I just cut my finger. He said, you were so calm about it. He said, I thought you were playing. You were just so calm about it. But like you said,
Yeah,
at first, it doesn't hurt.
yeah,
It was just, it happened so fast. It wasn't
yeah,
like, and I'm sure the same with you. It wasn't like somebody just took an arrow and was like barely
yeah.
pushing it in a little bit.
Right.
No, it was just immediately.
Yeah.
But
It was so quick. There was no, I didn't feel any like resistance. Man, I need to talk to Bear, Razor Broadheads right now and be like, hey,
yeah,
I'll do some commercials for you because I know how sharp they are.
yeah.
Man, those suckers are sharp. That was the new vintage Bear Broadheads that they just came out that
Nice.
year, and I was like, man, I love those. Those are, they got their single bevel and two blade, and really really good looking and wicked sharp. I didn't feel anything. It just went in, man. It was just there. Like it was crazy. It was so fast. So fast. I mean, 250 pounds coming down onto a broadhead, that's one
Yeah.
step is it's gonna disappear into your leg.
Oh yeah. Well, it's terrible. It's terrible that it happened, but I'm so glad that it wasn't worse.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah,
really could have been. So I'm so glad it wasn't worse. And
yeah,
I'm sure your wife's she's just happy that you're able to walk around.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She
Um,
was real worried about me for a while, but
oh yeah,
um, you bounce back, and
yeah,
yep, it's part of life.
yeah. Well, buddy, I'm starting to get a little tired. It's pretty late out here. So I think I'm gonna head back in
Yeah,
and
man.
see if anybody else is awake, and if not, then I'm gonna take a shower and try to get
All
me
right,
some
buddy.
shut eye too. But
Yep,
man,
yep.
it has been so good talking to you. So great to meet you. You're just such an awesome person, and I would like to ask, maybe after the season, I may try to get if I can, I may try to get all the contestants to do one big video with me.
Oh, that'd be
So if you'd
cool.
be interested in that, yeah, if you'd be interested in that, man, then maybe we could do that then.
100%, 100%. I'd
Yeah,
love to. Yeah, yeah.
but
Well, thanks for
but
having
it's
me on,
been
man. Thanks for talking to me, dude. It's
yeah.
been fun. Been a
Thank
great
you. It
time.
has been.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. And I've checked out your YouTube. I love the bows, and I can't wait to see that unravel even farther.
Thank you.
And I want before we go, I want to show you something. This
Yeah.
is this is a bow that I've made, and it looks awesome. You
Yes.
see the handle and everything,
Yes. Yes.
but it's only let me scoot this table back. It's only this long.
Oh. Oh, it's a baby bow.
Yeah,
It's a little baby bow.
you see,
Yeah. That's great.
I made one for my son, and
Yeah.
he loved it. I had him out there. I got this little 3D deer out here, and I put balloons up on it. He'll go out there and he'll shoot the balloons off the deer. And
Oh, that's amazing.
so I decided that I wanted to start. Yeah, I wanted to start trying to make bows like traditional bows for
Yeah.
kids.
Yes.
And I've got a little stack of them going over here are nowhere near
Yes.
finished.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
and
awesome.
I was going to try that. But these are just board bows, man. And I would
Yeah.
love to. I would love to see if you could, a how to on building your
Yeah.
bows, because
Yeah.
I have 2 red oak staves that I cut
Okay.
before. No, the week after I got home from the show, I said I'm going to build my own bow. So
Yeah.
these staves are like 2 years old, you know.
Nice.
I said
Okay.
I'm going to build my own bow. So I went out and I found some good straight. There wasn't no curve in the bark or anything. And if you could do a how-to video, I would love to follow along with that. I think, and I
Yeah.
wanted to do it all with hand tools. I've got my draw knives and everything else. So I think it would be awesome to follow along with that.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I can definitely do that. I can work that out. Yeah,
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait. Well, Cubby, it's been so awesome talking to you, buddy, and I can't wait to talk to you again. We're gonna have to do this again sometime. Maybe not even over the show, just to chat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm gonna head off in here. Good night. Wish your family good night for me, and tell them all that you're awesome. Tell them I said you're awesome. That's fine.
Thanks, brother. Tell your family hi for me too, man.
I will.
All right.
But all right, buddy. Well, we'll let you go.
Thanks, man.
Right,
have a good one.
You too. Bye.